Young man, one day you will succeed your father as Count of Hochland, and therefore it is of primary importance that you learn about the military and political structure of this great land. From your court here in Hergig, you will reign over the province of Hochland. You can see the borders on this map. Always remember your first duty is to govern and protect your people. Furthermore, you are already aware that your full title will be an Elector Count, a title which brings with it even greater responsibility. You will sit on the Imperial Council together with the other 14 electors. Do you remember who these important people are? The Counts of Averland, Meneland, Norland, Osterland, Ostermark, Reichland, Sturland, Talabakland, and Vesseland, together with the Grand Theorists of Sigmar, the 2 Archlectors of Sigmar, the High Priest of Ulrich, and the Elder of the Moot. So don't forget any of them, as their votes count as much as yours, and we do not want to cause a diplomatic incident, do we? The council has a difficult task to elect a new emperor when our ruler, Karl Franz of Reichland, departs this world and joins the almighty Sigma in the afterlife. This election is a delicate game of diplomacy, politics, and intrigue. It can be dangerous as a battlefield, and you need years of experience before you can even think of taking part in it. At present, though, the power seems solidly in the hands of the Counts of Reichland, who can rely on the decisive support of the Sigmarite vote. It is no coincidence that the Temple of Sigmar in Eldorf grows richer and more splendid with every passing year. I am no seer, but my educated guess is that the next emperor will still have his court in Eldorf. Always remember that the Emperor is your lord and you owe him your allegiance. If he calls for help during military campaigns, you must send a contingent of troops as requested. Failure to do so would be considered high treason, and that would be the undoing of your family. Since we are on the subject, let us examine the structure of the army of Hochland, which, if it is not fighting under the Emperor, will have you as its supreme commander. But why would you need to fight if the Emperor has not called you, you may ask? Well, you are lucky because you grew up in an extraordinary peaceful period for our province. Can you remember when, 8 years ago, your father led his army against a horde of foul beastmen which emerged from the woods on the foothills of Midland Mountains? While our land has many enemies, you may have to fight the tribes of the Greenskins and the creatures of chaos that live hidden in the vast forests and high mountains of our domain, or even some more civilized opponents if the Count of Ostland pretends once again to have strange understandings of where our borders should lie. Now, as I said, you are the supreme commander of the army of Hochland, but you can delegate command of smaller forces to any officer who considered to be a valid leader of men. You will always have at your disposal the regiments of our state army, what we call the regular troops. These are the professional soldiers who you see training every day on the drill grounds. They are armed and equipped at your expense and are ready to fight at any time. Mostly they consist of infantry regiments distinguished by the weapons they carry, such as halberds, spearmen, swordsmen, and handgunners. The sons of the nobility form our most modern and deadly cavalry, the Pistolier Corps, where you too will serve some time in order to gain some invaluable experience of warfare. Then there are the great swords that form the bodyguard and garrison of your castle. They are the best soldiers, stern veterans who have sworn to give their lives to protect yours. They are equipped with the best weapons and armor we can afford, specially commissioned from the guilds of the dwarves. The Count's artillery train, on the other hand, comes from my hometown of Nuln and can field many cannons of quality, a few of the new mortars the engineers have developed. You can also rely on the engineer school to try their experimental weapons on the field. I have heard that they are quite effective if they do not blow up the first time they are fired. If your state troops are seriously outnumbered, you can resort to the militia or irregular troops. The bulk of these are normally made of the riff-raff regiments known as the Free Companies, a collection of adventurers, cutthroats, and scum who lack discipline but have respectable fighting skills. Furthermore, trappers from the northern woods make splendid scouts, and there are always Tillian crossbowmen looking for employment. If you are looking for a more reliable force, you can summon the Knights for help. The closest order, just a few days north of Hergig, are the Knights of the Silver Mountain, who have come to aid our house many times in the past. If the knights join your force, you can count on them as formidable allies, but you must be prepared at times to share command of your forces with the Grand Master. A more esoteric kind of help can be found from the wizards and priests of Sigmar. At your father's court, old Herman and his 2 apprentices represent the College of Fire, and they can contract their brethren in Eldorf to recruit more magicians. It is more difficult to get the priests to come to your aid, as they respond only to their superiors in the clergy of Sigmar. The most zealous and radical ones tend to defy even their central control of the Templar of Sigmar, and let the voice of their god decide their course of action. However, you can be sure of having them on your side every time you fight chaos in any guise. Finally, do not underestimate the band of desperate religious fanatics who travel through the Empire, casting themselves and announcing the end of the world. People call them flagellants, and they are a strange lot. Their presence is probably not too good for the morale of your troops, but in a battle they fight with the strength and ferocity of madmen. That is all for now, and I sincerely hope that you will not have to use this knowledge which I have taught you today too soon. Now go, young one, it is time for your fencing lessons.